Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and today we have a Phistomefel themed edition. Let me explain. So the puzzle on the screen is by the great man himself. It appeared on Logic Masters Germany a few days ago. We've had about 4 requests to solve this so far. It's obviously not a sudoku, it's called a snake pit puzzle. Now, I don't have much experience with snake pit puzzles, but hopefully I'll be able to find a way through for you. But yeah, we're going to have a look at this in today's video. But coincidentally, yesterday I had an email from Phistomefel which contained some quite cool stuff. Basically, you may remember, if you've been following the channel for a few days, that I solved one of his puzzles, which was a crop key XV sudoku, about a week ago. And apparently what he's done is he's looked at the logic in that puzzle and he has sort of taken it up to 11. And he's sent me a puzzle that he says contains the most beautiful break-in he's ever devised in a sudoku. Now, you know, if you've been watching the channel, you will know that my opinion of Phistomefel is that there's no one better in terms of constructing puzzles. So when he says he's constructed his most beautiful break-in, this sounds like something we've got to try. So what I'm going to do, with his permission I may add, is I'm going to share that with you guys who are patrons of the channel today. So if you go to Patreon and you're a patron of the channel, you'll be able to play that puzzle today. But don't worry, if you're not a patron of the channel, I'm still going to attempt a live solve of it in the coming days. So that's the small caveat. I guess if I fail to solve it in the video, it may never see the light of day and just be a patron-only puzzle. But hopefully I will find a way through. I can't tell you, I really am looking forward to giving it a go. Also, for those of you who are patrons of the channel, obviously we have Scott Strosal's Puzzle Hunt. We've been plugging that for the last week or two, and that's because we can't recommend it too highly. It's absolutely magnificent, and the feedback we've had on it has been stellar and absolutely in line with what we were expecting. So if you haven't tried it yet, do give it a go. It is marvellous. Now, let me read you the rules of this puzzle today. This is very interesting. What we've got, so the preamble says, this puzzle is a snake pit puzzle where all snakes have the same length. Draw 7 snakes in the grid, each of them 7 cells long, and none of them intersecting. A snake is a path that is 1 cell wide, does not branch, and does not touch itself orthogonally. Okay. The circles drawn in the grid are endpoints of snakes. Not all endpoints of snakes are given, and a snake can contain no circle, 1 circle, or 2 circles. Right, okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to think about that and what that might mean. So let us just make sure we understand the rules. So we have to draw, this is a 7 by 7 grid, so we've got to draw 7 snakes in the grid, each of them 7 cells long, but none of them can touch each other or touch themselves orthogonally. So if this was a snake and it came down to this square, it now can't turn left, because if it did, obviously this snake is touching itself orthogonally, so it'd have to continue down, I don't know, and do that or something. Okay, well, I think I understand the rules. Do have a go at this yourselves, by the way. I'll provide 2 links. Phistomefel provided a Penpa link, which you're very welcome to use, obviously. I'm going to try and do it in our software because I'm just more used to that. So yeah, there are 2 links under the video that you can press to play the puzzle. And with that, I get to play. Let's get cracking. So these circled cells are the endpoints of snakes. And there are, how many have we got here? We've got 8 endpoints. So if these all join to each other, these are showing us a minimum of 4 snakes and a maximum of all 7 snakes. It's possible that, you know, if, for example, I don't know how, let's say that did that one, that's 7, and then every other snake in the grid contained exactly 1 circle, then we would have, well, that is a possible arrangement. So we don't know how many snakes these circles equate to. Now, what do we know about this puzzle? We know that... In fact, what do we know about this puzzle? How on earth do you start this puzzle? Because I was thinking maybe I could do something in a corner. Like if I knew those... You know, often in snake puzzles the corners are very constrained because you... But here it's perfectly possible that there is a snake end in one of the corners. So we can't even assume that the corner must use those 3 snake positions, because if there's a snake end here, then you could have a snake going out that way and a different snake going that way, and that would be completely fine. So that is not good logic. So each snake is 7 cells large. Oh, right, I know what we should do here. I should have thought about this straight away. So let's just think about... I was thinking about this snake. In fact, let me show you. I think we have to checkerboard the grid, because I've just realised that if every snake is an odd... oh, that was a shank. Don't do that. Oh no, has that completely gone away? I'll have to undo it. In fact, maybe I'll just restart. That's quicker. Let's put orange. Is that going to be better? Yeah, there we go. Because if each snake is an odd number of cells long, it must finish on the same checkerboard pattern. So look at this one here, for example. Its second cell could be here, well, or here, but it's definitely white. So its third cell is always orange, its fourth cell is always white, its fifth cell is orange, sixth cell white, seventh cell is orange. And I've just noticed that in fact, oh, this must be important. All of the given snake ends are on the same colour. So it's absolutely possible, in fact, that these snake ends, these 8 snake ends, relate to just 4 snakes, because we know any snake that starts on an orange must finish on an orange. Now, okay, so this is very clever, this puzzle. This is very clever because it forces you to think in some quite obvious ways once you have the thought. But until I had the thought, I was floundering here. But I've just had another thought, which I think is sensible, which is that, is it possible that there is a 5th snake in this grid that starts on an orange square? And I don't think it is. Now, why don't I think it is? Well, how many cells are there in the puzzle? There are 49. Now, I think there have to be 25 oranges and 24 whites. Yeah, you've got 16 plus 9. So we've got 25 orange squares and 24 white squares that we need to tile with 7 snakes. Now, we know, because of what we've got here at the moment, that there are a minimum of 4 snakes that start and end on orange cells. So how many white cells do those orange snakes use up? Well, they must use up 3 times 4, which is 12. That means there are still 12 white cells that we have to occupy, but we've only got 3 more snakes to find. So those 3 snakes have to use, each of them has to use at least, well, exactly 4 white cells, i.e. they start and end on white cells. That's the only way you can make a 7-cell snake pick up 4 white cells. It must start and end on white cells. So this is very clever. Now we know not only are the circles in the grid the start and end points of the 4 orange snakes, or cells that start and end on orange cells, But the other 3 snakes most certainly do not start on orange or end on orange cells. They start and end on white cells, and that will allow us to tile the whole grid without missing a cell. Right, so I've 10 minutes. All I've done is shaded in cells in the grid. But I think I've made a huge amount of progress. I just have to work out how to use it So I suppose where my eyes are drawn to the corners, because the corners in this grid are all orange, and they cannot be starts or ends of snakes because they're orange, and we know we're given all of the starts and ends of the orange snakes. So the corner must be a turn of a snake. That's the nice deduction, but we don't know. It could still be part of an orange snake, or it could be part of a white snake, i.e. a snake that starts or ends up. But we do know those have to be, I don't know how I'm going to notate this. Green, maybe? Let's put them in green. So these are all definite snake segments. So now, okay, look at this cell. This cell is orange, so we know it's not the start or end of a snake. So this must be it must be a corner of a snake, and it can't be a part of the green snake, because if we turn that green, clearly this snake is touching itself orthogonally. Don't let your snake touch itself orthogonally. So this must be a different snake. So this green snake, look. Yeah, okay, this square is a white square in terms of the checkerboard pattern. This square is white. So if this square was a start or end point of the snake, we're broken because we'd have to hit this square, and that's meant to be a start or end point of a snake. So there's not enough room for this square to be a start or end point of a snake. So the green must come down. In fact, it must come down again. So okay. Now, so I think the way I'm going to approach this puzzle is to focus very hard on orange cells, because orange cells can never be start or end points of the snakes unless they already have a circle in them. So if, for example, this snake turns left, yeah, that gives us a mighty problem with this orange square, because now that has to be a corner. It can't be the end of a snake. So you'd have a pattern like that. Actually, that's not a good colour to choose. I'll make it blue. Now, what on earth does this snake, this theoretical snake, do? Where does it go next for its next cell? And the answer, well, it's broken. Hopefully that's pretty clear. It's broken. It can never take this square, because that's touching itself orthogonally. So its only option would be to extend into this square, and this length of snake is not 7, it's only 5. So we can go back and say with certainty the green snake must come down again. I'm going to do this again. Can it turn? So it can turn in terms of it is now a perfect 7-length snake. But the bottom right of the grid looks problematic to me, because how do we get... Yeah, okay, this is problematic, because now we've got to get 2 snakes out of the bottom right, haven't we? Because we can't make a snake that does this sort of thing, because this snake is clearly touching itself orthogonally. So So there must always be two snakes coming out of this 2x2 region. And those two snakes have to... Yeah, this is perfect. The two snakes coming out of this 2x2 region can never join with this or with this, because these are not far enough away. If I join that one with that, for example, that's only 5. So if I try and do this, that would be 7, but these 3 squares would be isolated. And I think this works however we do it. However, you know, even if we try and make a sensible snake like that, that would be a sensible snake. What colour should I use for my sensible snake? Red. This is a sensible snake. It's of length 7. But as I said, we've got to get 2 snakes out of this region, and whatever this is, it's hitting this before it's of length 7. This is not going to work. So I think what we can say with certainty is that this snake comes down here, and now it is of length 7. That assumes, actually, maybe that's not right. I've just realised that I've neglected to think about whether this corner could be part of this. No, it can't. My logic's okay, but it was incomplete because... Let's just go back. Let's go back to wherever I was at the start here. Let's make those orange, these white, and we put in this green here. Now, the thing I failed to consider is whether or not this snake segment here could actually join up to this. And it's pretty clear it can't once we study it now, because you can't actually connect this to another orange snake end in only 7 cells, because we just can't do it. Even if we did that, that's more than 7, that's 9, I think. So it's fine. So this is in fact a snake end. I don't know how should I, maybe I'll put a number in it. I'll put 2 in it. So we'll use 1 for snake ends that are orange. I'm going to use 2 for snake ends that are white. And we know that this comes all the way down here, don't we? 1, 2, 3, and it goes to that square. So this is a 2. Okay. Which means this one must come out to here. So I'm going to have to change its colour. So how shall I do this? I'll do green. And I know that it can be a bit difficult if I choose the wrong colour here. So I'm trying to pick the right one, but I'm not sure which one. Maybe, is it okay if I do purple? So this comes to here. Yeah, okay, and I'm going to use my trick again. If this turns up, so now we get this, what happens to this orange cell? This orange cell cannot be a snake end. So there would have to be a snake that did this, and we've got exactly the identical problem that we had when we looked at it down column 7 is that. Because where does this snake now go? It either joins the ones together in a 5-cell snake, or it touches itself orthogonally. So this has to continue. Now if this turns up again, what happens? It can't hit this. That would be a 5-cell snake. Yeah, so it must go there, and now this cell has no value. It can't be part of the purple snake because it would be touching itself, and it can't join to that because that is a 2-cell snake. So it doesn't do this. It must continue again. And it can't join that because that's only 5 cells, so it must now turn up. What a fascinating little puzzle, isn't it? And I think I'm going to be able to solve it. It does feel today like I'm actually on the right track for once. Well, this square must be problematic now. This square can't be part of the purple. And it can't be... If this snake turns down as its first move, what is its second move? It would have to be that way, and now it has to turn back on itself, which is no good. So this is a snake end. That's a snake end. That's a 2 snake end because it's a white cell, and it's got to get out. So it must come this way, mustn't it? Oh, so it's going to come that way. Now, does it connect to this purple? That's the question we've got now. Does the red snake connect to the purple snake? If it doesn't connect to the purple snake, that would have to turn. This square is next to an orange square, so this is a white square. So this is... this one. So what I was just wondering is if I turn this snake here, you can see we've got a red snake which has started on a white square. So this is one of the three snakes that start on a white square. These two's definitely, well, that's why I've labelled them two. They started on a white square. So, and this square is white. So now we've actually identified, in this sort of iteration, we've identified the three snakes in the grid that have to be starting and ending on white cells. Now, I'm just wondering about these two snake segments here. Yeah, look at the top left one. This snake. Is it possible this is connecting anything other than white snake ends? And it's not. Look at its position. You can't make this part of a snake that starts on an orange square, because if it's part of this one, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, its only seventh square would be that one, which touches itself orthogonally. If it's part of this one, it's just got there's just no snake end that's the right distance away. So this is perfect. This is so cool. So this snake segment here is not part, well, let me put it a different way. It is part of a snake that starts and ends on a white square, which means if this has turned left, either the purple or the red snake have to connect to this, and this, I don't think this one can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's too big. It's too big, and the red one clearly can't. So this is great, because this means that this red does connect to this purple. This is all part of a single snake, which I will make blue. And it starts and ends with a 2. And, okay, now can we... So this orange snake piece here must come out. So it must come to there. This one, do we know what this one does? Looks like this purple one could join to that one or that one. It can't join to this one. Ah, look at this square. This square is important. This is a white cell. I know it's green, but you know what I mean. It's a white snake end for the purposes of this puzzle. Now, if this is a white snake end, it would have to connect, we know it has to connect to this snake, and that's too many cells, isn't it? Yeah, that's definitely more than 7, because it's used the whole of column 1. So this square is part of a snake that connects orange snake ends together. And it can't be part of that one, because that would be touching orthogonally, so it's part of this one. So this is another snake region here. So it must come up again. And it's going to join to this one, isn't it? That's its only option. So it's either going to come in here and join like that, or it's going to go up there and join like that. Ah, and it doesn't do that. It doesn't do this. Why doesn't it do this? This is cunning. Let's have a look. So if it did this, what are we going to do with this 2x2 region here? What are we going to do with this white square? And the thing is, it can come up here and come out, but what this square is now isolated. This square can't be part of the purple because the purple snake would only be 6 long. This would certainly be a snake end. And if it does that, this square is isolated completely. And if this joins to that and becomes purple, then it breaks for a different reason. This cell can't connect to there, look. That's impossible because it would be too long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is too many. So I think all of that means that this is impossible. This has to turn in here and hit this one, which means this square, look, has to be a snake end and it's white. So this is going to be the last snake we're creating here. This is a 2, this is a snake end. So it must come on another cell. It can't join up with this one snake because this one started on an orange. So it must turn up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is of length 7 now. So this is our last snake that starts and ends on white. This square now has to come out. I might actually use, should I use orange or is that going to be confusing? Maybe I will make this one purple. So this is purple. This red one needs to come out, so it's got to come up to here. It can't connect to this one because this would only be a 5 length snake. Oh, it could connect to the purple though. The one has to come down. Yeah, and sorry, I've done the wrong colours again. I'm running out of colours here. Ah! If I use grey, does that work? Oh yeah, grey works. So this, although the circle's now disappeared. Ah! Oh, it doesn't matter. We know that this is a circle, so I labelled it with a 1. So now what have we got? We've got, so now this red one is hemmed in. So the red one must connect to the purple one. That's perfect. So that gives us another snake. This one here and this one here. So this has got to come out to there. So this is part of the same arrangement. This snake here can't connect to this snake, so it must go there. This snake must come down. This snake must come down to avoid... And I think that's it, isn't it? So now this cell is going to be the final part of this snake. That is of length 7. And this snake turns around the corner and we make all of that purple. And I think that is the solution. Let me just stare at it for a second. Beautiful logic problem, isn't it? It's just beautiful. And it seems so impossible when you first look at it. And I know there'll be a number of sort of puzzle experts who take one look at that grid, immediately checkerboard it, immediately sort of, you could bifurcate this quite quickly, but I didn't do that. I did it logically, and I hope that's what you guys want to see. So thank you for watching, and we'll be back later with another edition, of course, of Cracking the Cryptic.